Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Guilty as Charged podcast. If you missed our last episode, this is the first time you're seeing this kind of setup for us. If you watched our last episode, we're wearing the same outfit. So that's because we were recording this right after our previous show. Tonight's show, I guess this morning, I don't know when we're going to post this. Anyway, it's kind of rambling here. We're going to do a trade down mock, a scenario that I think is very interesting for the Chargers here. And joining me to do that, of course, as always, is my good friend Tyler. Tyler, what's up, man? How are you doing tonight?
About as well as I was 5 minutes ago when we finished our last recording on Tuesday. Although today, when you guys are all watching this video, is Throwback Thursday at my school. And my students picked the 90s and 2000s. So I'm going to put bowling balls in my pockets and go walk into the ocean after this live stream after this recording because, wow, thanks a lot, guys.
Oh, man, that is too good. Yeah, that's the point where we're at today. I did a transcript evaluation for one of our students, a newer student, who's a true freshman and was born in 2010, which is when I was a junior in high school.
Help, man. I am so close to being old running back, man. I am 30 in July. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah. I was FaceTiming with my younger sister who had like the dark realization that she's turning 30 this year. And she's like, no, I'm turning 29. I'm like, no, you were born in 1995 and it is 2025. And she's like, oh. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's all fun though.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe we'll take an older prospect in this mock draft.
Yeah. We'll probably take a lot younger prospect as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started here. I think that the exercise that we are kind of exploring here, we're going to have two main targets, which are going to be the Detroit Lions, who are picking at 28, and the Buffalo Bills, who are picking at 30. I think you could make an argument for like the Ravens to be in this kind of conversation too, but it's a little bit more valuable for the Chargers if they could move down with 28 or 30 in terms of the compensation. And the Lions and the Bills are each teams that could very legitimately justify trading up, and their GMs have made a habit of trading up and trading back and things like that. They both have extra picks. So these two teams to me are the two teams that you're looking at in terms of trading down and still potentially getting a blue chip player here, or maybe not blue chip, but a high end player that can really help your team. And maybe that specific slot at 22 is a little less awkward for those two teams if like Kenneth Grant and Colston Loveland are off the board, for example.
Yeah.
So Tyler, when it comes to those two teams, what kind of trade value do you think the Chargers would be looking at in terms of a trade down?
Yeah, I would definitely be looking for at least a third round pick in this. If you trade back one spot, two spots, and get like a fourth or fifth, like that's cool. But I really want one of those close to top 100 selections, especially in this class. And I think we're only doing this with our favorite guys off the board because the Chargers are at a spot where it's possible Grant, Loveland, Harmon, Barron, these guys are off the board. And let's say like with my mock draft we did last Saturday, I had Hampton there. And that's not a bad pick the Chargers could make with Hampton, but I think you could trade back and get whatever. Maybe you could get Hampton there too. Could get a receiver. So I like the idea of trading back with someone like the Lions, getting their 102nd pick or whatever it is at the end of the third round, and just acquiring more that way. I'm much more in favor of that than our trade up mock. That's for sure.
Yeah, trading down just gives the Chargers a lot more flexibility. And like, but Joe Ortiz made the one draft trade last year, but the Ravens historically were very willing to move up and around the boards all throughout the draft. So if you're able to move down and collect, an extra third round pick, then you can use other picks to move back like into the second round or things like that. So it just gives the Chargers a lot more flexibility than trading up does, obviously, as you guys might recall here. So Tyler, let's fire up the mock, and we'll probably zoom through kind of like the day 3 picks because you guys have seen that we don't have a ton to say about day 3 picks. But we will obviously talk about a lot of the options for the Chargers at pick 28 or 30 or whoever we decide.
Yeah, so if we want to go with the Lions, that'd be 28, 30 if it's the Bills. I think the Lions jumping their rivals for somebody, especially on defense, makes sense. An NFC team the Chargers won't see this year. I don't even think next year. So it makes sense to me, but I'm all ears on a different option.
Yeah, 28 and 102 for 22 makes a lot of sense. If the Chargers wanted to be a little creative here, you could do, what did I say to you? It was 22 and 86 for 28, 60, and 130.
If you stall long enough, I can answer your question.
I want to say that's it. So you could trade back, you could trade down 6 spots to 28, give your 3rd round pick, get 2 second round picks and a 4th round pick. I think that is pretty equal, depending on how much you really want a 3rd round pick or 2 fourths.
Ooh. Well, my dumb brain says this one because it's simpler, but 28, 60, and you said 28, 60, and 130 for 22 and 86.
That is correct.
So
you could have the 2 second round picks and the 2 4th round picks, or 1 second round pick and 2 3rd round picks.
Let's do 2 seconds. We did the one where we got 2/3 the previous mock trade up, I think, because we swapped and got a 1/3. So we can do 2 seconds.
Yeah. It just gives the Chargers, it gives them 2 extra. It gives you 2 top 60 picks instead of a 3rd round pick, but then you get 2 4th round picks. And again, in this case, the Chargers could use one of those 4th round picks to trade back up. There's a lot of moving parts. We're not going to do all that.
Yeah.
But this would give the Chargers, pick 60 and 55, and then you would also have 125 and 130. So I think it gives you more value that way because you're getting 2 top 60 picks.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Let's force this trade.
Even though it has an 84% chance of being accepted.
Yes. And we're doing this trade before the draft starts. Obviously, the Chargers would wait. But let's see what pops up for the Chargers here. So at 28, Booker went. Darn, Steven. So we're behind the Ravens now. Zabel went. Loveland went. Egbuka, Grant, Azuraku went. Warren went, etc. So with us here, Burden, Nolan, Pierce, Hampton, Sharon, Revel. Oh, Harmon at 31. Well, hang on now. Trey Amos, which I would like here, but not over Harmon. I'm Ayomanor, Tyleik Williams. We're never in that Tyleik Williams range. It wouldn't make sense at 22. It's kind of fun to be in this range now because we never really get to talk about these players.
Did Donovan Jackson go?
I don't think he's that high. Wait, where is he?
Did he go? Then.
Where did he go?
He must have gone way up the board.
Oh, is he listed as a tackle on here? Perhaps. Yeah, 49.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. We just did our Harbaugh Guys show, and we talked quite a lot about Donovan Jackson. He would obviously play left guard for the Chargers right here. I don't love taking guard at 22, but in this kind of scenario where you traded down, what are your thoughts about Donovan Jackson here at pick 28?
All right, but hear me out. Derek Harmon.
But we always do the Derek Harmon thing.
I know, and he probably won't be here available anyway. All right. If we want to go to something different, I'm open to either Trey Amos or Donovan Jackson with Tyler Booker also gone. Even with him there, potentially, that's more of a conversation. Other than that, I like a lot of these players here, but I feel like you can find someone in a bit. My only concern, or one of my concerns, is that last time we did the mock with Katzen, there was this discussion like, I feel like you can find the right kind of guards later on, but at the same time, like if you want to upgrade over Zion, this is kind of it right here. And it's a true, I know he's listed as a tackle, but it's basically a true left guard here. So unless he's making a switch to tackle, I am surprised he's listed as a tackle here. I know he played most of the season there, but that's not his career.
I don't know many people who have him as like a true tackle, so I don't understand.
Yeah. No, he doesn't really present like that to me either. Let's do it. Let's get a guard. Let's absolutely make everyone log off.
I was gonna see what your thoughts would be on doing the Trey Amos thing here, because this is another position where it's like, we struggled to find like a true cornerback spot, but we know we can get guards in the second round. Like finding a cornerback spot is a little tricky. So my two, let's be different ideas. We're going to be Donovan Jackson and Trey Amos. And I would be okay with either one at this point. Everybody kind of knows the Chargers need a left guard, but nobody's really talking about corner in the first round for the Chargers. Unless like Will Johnson could fall. That's really like the only way they will talk about it. So what are your thoughts about Amos here at 28 after a trade down?
He'd be my preferred option here for sure. It's just it's such a weird fit, like we've been discussing so much. I mean, obviously he would start at this point because you're trading back and taking Trey Amos. I watched him match up no problem against LSU, against Brock Bowers. I really do like him. He would not be my first choice or fifth choice at 22, but there's a world where I actually get why they take him at 22 because the other corners have so many other concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you'll allow it, I kind of like waiting.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for Trey Amos.
All right. Okay, good. Everyone do your homework on this guy. I love this boy. We traded back. Yay. Who are you taking? A guard or a corner? Ooh.
No, but I mean, I really like Trey Amos too. And his Alabama tape, it always popped. And then this year at Ole Miss, he really took that leap of, CB1 type. So we've kind of said this, like anything is really on the table for the Chargers in the first round. And now you have pick 55 and pick 60, where you could really go, after a lot of, high caliber players. So you don't have a third round pick in this instance, obviously. But man, I think taking a corner at pick 28 after a trade down is definitely something I would be interested in given where that position is at.
Yeah, and especially obviously we traded back, so there were no tight ends available. So now you're in this spot where you don't feel as bad taking a tight end because you got 2 picks. If you take a tight end, Arroyo would definitely be my option here. Now that they've gone defense,
they finally put Kyle Williams up higher, so that's good. Looks like
that was
an update recently.
Crazy. He's at 63. Didn't we just get him
in the 4th
Didn't you
round?
just overdraft him in the 4th round somehow?
Yep.
That's crazy. All right, cool.
I think people know where I feel about Kyle Williams, but how do you have him versus Jalen Royals versus Trey Harris kind of stacked up?
Ooh, where do I have Kyle Williams? I have.
Wait, is Trey Harris? Is he up now, or is he still in the 80s?
He is 68. Oh, well, everyone's moved up.
Okay, so
right,
there was some work done on the PFF board. Okay,
where do I have Williams ranked? Okay, so I have Harris ahead. Then I have Royals. Then I have Williams, but I haven't watched enough on Williams to be definitively sure. I've watched 3 games, which is like fine. So I get Kyle Williams, but I don't really know definitively. Be fun if we took another Ole Miss player. I've gotten plenty of Trey Harris recently, so Royals is definitely different. Kyle Williams at this point is very different. Do you feel that this is the right spot for Kyle Williams, or do you feel like this is early?
I feel like at 55 is a little early, but I do have a high 3rd round grade on him. So I feel like, in the 60-70 range is where I would probably take him. Right. And honestly, I have him and Jalen Royals like right next to each other. I do have Trey Harris higher than both of these players, even though it's funny, like Kyle Williams was like a hipster guy, and now he's a 2nd round pick, according to everybody. I saw some, I can't remember which draft analyst it was, now has him as like a 1st round grade. I'm like, okay,
guys, calm down now.
So he's firmly like end of round 2, early round 3 for me, which I guess pick 55 kind of is.
Yeah, I've got him at 68th overall with some players missing, but I kind of agree with you. This is an oddly early spot, but it's not so early.
Yeah. I would, of the receivers, I would do Trey Harris. I mean, we've done that before. Wow, Benjamin Morrison fell all the way here. That's kind of crazy.
I guess I kind of get it. Any temptation for Arroyo at this point?
No, I've kind of settled on Arroyo being kind of like a mid 3rd round kind of guy, honestly. Like his athletic traits are who I would take after the top 2.
Yeah.
But I feel like tight end we can get later. I feel like this is interior offensive line's a good one here. I think receivers a good one here. You could do defensive line, but I'm waiting on tight end. We just did Alfred Collins. I would be A-okay with Alfred Collins here.
Oh, he's at 75. Can we, I know it really doesn't matter because they're 5 spots apart, go with a D tackle and then go with the receiver?
Sure. That works with me. You want to do Collins or do you want to do CJ West or?
I prefer Collins of those 2 for sure.
Same.
Also down here, Farmer. Yeah, because we don't have a 3rd round pick, so we should get someone.
Yeah,
one of these. I don't mind picking from the receivers that are left. So Collins, Yeah, Collins comfortably over what's on here.
Yeah, I would have Collins and then Farmer and then West.
Yeah,
So let's do Collins here. I know it's going to give us a bad grade, but I think he's worthy of this pick.
I think so. Okay, now we can look at. I'll throw a tight end on here just in case. So I think we didn't lose.
we
We didn't lose any of the receivers. So I am a Trey Harris guy. They did bring him in, which is a bit worrisome because there's something to have to check out there.
For the sake of being different, should we just do Jalen Royals?
Yeah.
What's your report on Royals versus how he compares to like Trey Harris and Kyle Williams?
I like when Royals has his hands in the football and can convert to almost like a running back. I feel like he has this like strange running back yak ability there. But I love the opportunity to get him in the ball in the middle of the field. But I don't know that he's a boundary guy as much as a Trey Harris could be. And some of that is a lot of watching 2023 for me with Trey Harris. So Royals I like as a kind of a weapon, but I feel like you can do that with McConkey. In theory, you could do some of that with Quentin Johnston. I think Harris presents himself as a different body in the room, as a more of a boundary option who also can do some yak stuff over the middle. Like I think Royals, cool stuff over the middle. I like Royals more than Williams, but would I like Williams more on this team right now? I kind of think so, but I would prefer Trey Harris overall.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think his ability to create separation at the catch point is really, really underrated. I tweeted out this clip, but he did kind of struggle with press coverage against Utah, against Amaya Vaughn, who is a 6'3" corner, 32-inch arms. But there were a few reps where even if it was kind of a bit of a struggle to get downfield, once he got downfield, he was able to make a one-handed catch. He was able to high point another catch. So his ball skills are fantastic, and I think he has the size. Like you checked in at the combine at 205 pounds. Like he's a bigger, built-out guy. So I think he can do some more vertical route tree stuff. And the first thing I loved about him was actually like his dig work and his post work and his ability to kind of access the middle parts of the field vertically.
Yeah.
And then you see the yards after the catch potential. So I do see a world where him and Ladd can coexist.
Yeah.
But he's not an X. So he's not solving your X position. I don't think Kyle Williams is either.
Definitely not.
But Trey Harris would be your X receiver of choice here. So for the sake of being different and Jalen Royals and his ability, like after the catch, I would be okay with this one. And again, like as long as you have the ability to go inside and outside, I think the Chargers can make it work. It just can't be like a definitively like Jalen Knoll, for example. Like he's definitively a slot receiver. So even though he is like faster, like he's too small and not built like Jalen Royals, where Jalen Royals can play on the outside. So I'm cool with Jalen Royals, even though I would have probably a couple players higher. But I think at this point, part of this exercise is picking different players and talking about them differently.
Perfect. And then I guess Henderson would have also been a selection for me here, but I like Royals here. Like Royals at this spot is totally fine. I just have preferences, but that works for me.
And Henderson went up quite a few spots too, finally.
Yes, and right now we have Trey Amos, Alfred Collins, and Jalen Royals. I really like this draft. No one else is going to like it, but I like it.
Kyle Williams still on the board? What the heck?
Oh. Well, there we go.
Double dip.
Double dip at receiver. That'll appease the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gunnar Helm is here. Obviously, Kyle Williams is here. Jadon Blue is here. We have done defensive tackles, so I feel better about that. Yep. JJ Pegues, apparently, or Pegoose. I don't know.
We did not take an edge rusher last draft when we did this with Alex Katzin. We have two fourth round picks kind of back to back here.
Yeah.
I think one of these picks, for again being the sake of being different, should be an edge rusher. And then we can do the other one be an offensive lineman or a tight end.
Yeah, let me pull up DI just in case. I am very unfamiliar with this group. You mentioned Jones in the last show. I wouldn't mind Jones. And that's a lot of D tackles here.
There are a lot of D tackles here. So Savion Jones is kind of more of he's more of a tweener type where he could kick inside and do the outside stuff. He's more of a power rusher than his teammate Braden Swinson, who's more of like a speed rusher type. A lot of fun. I think he can win in a variety of ways. They would even use him as like an amoeba rusher where he would kind of like bounce around, stand up, and then rush against the center. So Savion Jones is a ton of fun. I think getting him at 125 is very good value. If you scroll up a little bit, or is that the top?
It's close to the top.
So Quandarius Robinson would be your speed rusher of choice. I think Antoine Powell Ryland also kind of a speed rusher of choice. I like Fadil Diggs almost the same as this kind of group, and he's much further down. So theoretically, we could wait. So Savion Jones would be like he has the highest grade of that group. But if you want kind of more of a speed rusher, I'd be okay with Quandarius Robinson in this spot either.
Yeah, I personally would prefer a speed rusher. So if Robinson you feel like is that guy for you,
yeah,
then cool. I'm gonna pick again in 5. Okay.
Yep.
Edge rusher. All right. We're back again with generally the same board.
Yeah.
Helm did go. We are definitely not, we don't have a tight end yet. We don't have a running back yet. We could use an interior offensive lineman. We can take Quinn Ewers. Oh, there's Mitchell Evans. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with Mitchell Evans here. Unless you want to wait.
I mean, if you want Mitchell Evans, this is the spot. I just don't know. Like we've taken him a bunch. We haven't. You took Brenningstool on Saturday, right?
I did. Yeah.
Have you watched Evans and as well?
No, I've not watched Evans. Brenningstool, yes. Fadone the second, yes. And
I watched Conyers.
Montevideo, I've watched.
I obviously know Brant Keithy very well.
Yes.
Gadsden, I wasn't a huge fan of. Honestly, I think he's very tricky evaluation. I guess it just kind of depends your preference. Mitchell Evans is more of a, like I would say, secondary pass catcher and a blocker, whereas Brenningstool is like a true like pass catching tight end. But I'm cool with either of those two at this point.
We've taken both, so I don't really have a like desire to have to specifically take one. I've only watched Brenningstool, so I can only say that I'd prefer him because I watched him.
Okay. Yeah, Brenningstool is more athletic and gives you more like vertical juice, so we can take him.
Cool. Let's do that.
And again, right. I'm trying to be different here.
Yes. We can still get Kyle Williams, by the way.
What the shit?
Either the simulation has forgotten him or it's an error that he's here at 63. I'm not really sure what's happening there.
Okay, so this is round 5. Yeah, so we have Trey Amos, Alfred Collins, Jalen Royals, Quandarius Robinson, and then Jake Brenningstool. So we definitely need a running back. We definitely need an offensive lineman. Running back looks like it's drying up.
Oh, well, I'm sure all your good offensive linemen are down here. Where are they? There they are. Majors, Frazier, Slater, all down here. Kendall.
Yep.
Mays even. So
have you watched Trevor Etienne?
Nope.
Okay. Because I think he'd be a ton of fun in this offense. I understand, given his, he's not as athletic as his brother, why he's not going higher. Travis, that is, but I still think he's plenty athletic. I think he still would bring a lot of juice to this room. So
yeah,
I do like Kyle Monangai as well, who I watched. But Trevor Etienne and his athletic upside, I think, would be my choice here.
Sounds good to me. I need a running back. I'm happy to take a running back here. Now we're in 6th round. God help us. Let's see if we can get out of it.
Dante Thornton, easy one for me. Andrew Armstrong, I think, is pretty good as well.
Nice. All right. 172. Great.
Armstrong.
Elijah Badger. Yeah. Oh, all the receivers moved up. Are we in the same board as before?
Yeah. Wow. They must have done a lot of updating there.
Yeah, a ton of updating because I mean Badger, Armstrong, Thornton, Jr. I don't even know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying I don't even know which day 3 guy I like anymore because they've all moved up.
Well, I think we would definitely want a bigger guy because we took Jalen Royals. We want kind of a boundary guy.
Where do you want me to pull up?
The offensive line.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went back and watched Dylan Fairchild. He tested very well. I don't really see that kind of testing on tape personally, but very experienced, not a lot of injuries. So he's kind of the opposite of Tate Ratledge there. We've done the Miles Frazier thing before. Emory Jones, I think definitely could be a guard convert, and I think he would fit like the whole like big tackle guard kind of thing they have going.
Mm.
If we want to do something different there, I'm okay with Fairchild as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I would take any of those players over Dante Thornton.
Okay. I think Dante Thornton is awesome. I feel like people see the last name and maybe get worried because it sounds like Tyquan Thornton. So as long as you don't take him in the second round, you'll be fine. Yeah, Thornton. There's always that, oh, wow, like here's this really athletic guy and he's really big and tall and fast and he's in round like day 3. Let's go get him. But I feel like Thornton Jr. is somehow being underrated. I don't know if it's because of previous like buyer's beware and buyer's remorse.
I think it's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Armstrong? Have you watched him?
Yeah, I'm a huge Andrew Armstrong fan. If I were actually going to interview one player, I genuinely thought about reaching out to him because at the time he was like 370th on the consensus, much as like Kyle Williams was very far down there too.
Yeah.
I like him quite a bit. Very tall, skinnier guy. I don't believe he's the speed option. He tested very well, but he's not the speed option that Thornton Jr. is.
Yeah, he ran a 4.51 at his program.
Yeah. So his RAS I think is like 88th or 85th. Like it's solid. Just not the fastest 40. But as more of like a possession, I suppose, receiver. Yeah. But Thornton Jr. offers more the athletic upside.
Do you have any guesses of who his RAS comparison is?
Andrew Armstrong?
Yeah.
Are they still playing in the NFL?
Last year was his rookie season.
Oh. Frick. Trying to think of a skinnier, taller receiver. It's not Lat, right?
No.
Okay. Just double checking. I don't know. Who is it?
Devon Vele.
Oh. See, I knew I like these random guys. There we go.
Yeah, I'm okay with taking Andrew Armstrong. He's got a fuller route tree, and I think he can be a little bit more physical at the catch point. So if you're looking for kind of a jump ball guy, I do think Andrew Armstrong can be that for you. Yeah, definitely a better blocker, definitely more physical.
Yeah,
he's just player. Dante Thornton's a physical freak. Like he's and I think for that reason, he's probably going to go, third, fourth round. But Armstrong, I think stylistically probably fits better for what the Chargers need and are looking for.
Yeah. Awesome. No, I think Andrew Armstrong is awesome. Where do I have him here? Yeah, I very much like him. Like I like him more than Badger. I like him more than a bunch of crap. And there's a lot of crap. Yeah. And I'm glad to see the better players from day 3 moving up.
Yeah.
Badger, Thornton Jr., Armstrong. Those are guys I liked.
Yeah. Armstrong and Badger are right next to each other for me, but I do have Thornton higher than both. But like I said, I think Thornton's probably like a late round 3, early round 4 kind of type. Like I understand why there's some, team fatigue there, but at the end of the day, it's really difficult to teach 6'5", 4'3". So somebody's going to take him earlier than this for sure. So I'm cool with doing Armstrong because I do think he can be here.
I'm glad you watched Armstrong. I didn't realize you had, so that makes me happy.
I did a bunch of day 3 guys this weekend.
Yeah. It's something for sure.
Tyler Shuck is getting legitimate first round hype, and he is 186 on this simulation.
Oh God, I've heard positive things about him and his eval, but not for the Chargers. I have no idea.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so do the list. We have a corner, D tackle, receiver, edge, tight end, halfback or running back, receiver. We have not taken an interior guy.
No, we haven't.
Listen, I'm in the pits of hell with this one, other than Majors and Frazier. So you tell me.
Yeah, I'm not taking Frazier. Everybody knows how I feel about him, and he's so much earlier. Majors, I do think could be in this range, but like I mentioned on Saturday, I think Drew Kendall's probably a bit of a more stylistic and scheme fit. Chargers do need some kind of like. Do you think Alfred Collins has much pass rush upside, or is he more of kind of a run defender guy for you?
No, I definitely think he has pass rush upside. It's yeah. I definitely think he's got enough.
So would you be looking because I assume we're going to double dip at defensive tackle, would you be looking more for like a nose tackle type to go alongside him?
I I guess you kind of have to. I didn't watch Hand or Jones, and you feel that those are definitely not two nose tackles.
Jones can do a little nose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Jones can do some nose. Not a lot, but some.
Okay, so they still have Otito on the roster.
Who
Boygby's
they
definitely
like
not.
barely.
Yeah.
Otito was barely used as a nose.
Yeah. And then a Boygby definitely not. I don't
think
know. I feel like at this point you're just looking for a pass rusher more than
because I think with Tier Tart,
Mhm.
Sean Hand, Otito, and Alfred Collins, I think from a run defense standpoint, you're set.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have like a huge like bulking nose tackle.
Right. Right. I agree with you there. Are you leaning Ty Robinson here? Is that what you're trying to get at? Or another interior guy?
Well, Ty Robinson, I think, should be gone by this
I
point.
agree. I definitely agree with that. I still don't understand.
Can you just filter defensive tackle for me?
Yeah.
Junior Tafuna can rush the passer, but he's not like a true pass rusher type.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke Biggers is a nose tackle.
Yes.
Thor Griffith is a nose tackle. I have not watched Howard Cross from Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I
Riley.
think in the actual draft weekend, I think this is where Riley Mills will go because of his injury history.
Injuries. Yeah.
For the Chargers, that'd be essentially like kind of a red shirt situation.
Yeah.
I do like the other Maryland defensive tackle for what it's worth. I forget his name. He's at the very bottom of this list. He has some pass rush upside, I think. Ty Robinson is definitely Tommy.
Good luck.
King Basote.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ty Robinson definitely would be like the choice if he's on the board, but he should be long gone.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why not. He feels very, not that he's perfect, but he feels safe.
Yeah, he should be
powerful,
like
a big dude, top heavy.
Third, fourth round pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's where I have him at too. So if I pick someone, it's Ty. The rest I kind of feel like are not.
Yeah, these are more nose tackle types.
Yeah. But beggars can't be choosers. We have, I mean, I couldn't tell you about a safety or a corner at this point. Although I know they have a corner, but I'm talking special teams.
Sure.
I know Dean Clark because Alex told me to take him.
Ricky White's still on the board. That's interesting. He's fallen quite a bit.
Yeah.
Ollie Gordon, man. Crazy fall. I don't know. I have not watched Cam Horsley. I guess that is somebody I should go back and watch maybe if I have time. Mm-hmm. Oh, the Keenan Allen is all the way at 238.
Yeah, I don't really get that one.
Jordan James, what are we doing?
Maybe just it'll take a bit. Jaquindon.
Okay, so let's do. I like Joshua Gray quite a bit, and I do think he would be here. The receiver or the offensive lineman for Morgan State.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just take Ty Robinson. We're taking too
perfect.
Long on this.
This is important stuff. What are you talking about?
Okay, now let's do an offensive lineman. This is very late, but this is where we're at, I think.
Yeah.
So we could do the Jake Majors thing. We could do Drew Kendall thing. I do like Joshua Gray as well. I think he has some scheme versatility. I think he has athletic traits. So we can do him just to be different.
Perfect. Gives you more players to watch while you're gone.
Yeah. And then this is probably where you should take like a special teams linebacker or safety.
Awesome.
Because this is the end of round 6. That's fine.
Yes. One more and we'll get out of here. I know your guess is as good as mine. Dumont Johnson.
We took Mickens. I took Mickens last time. I'd be cool with that.
Done.
Okay.
Listen, you're in England.
I am in England right now by the time this is out. Alex's guy, Raheem Sanders here. Let's see. What can you scroll down on the left? Who I know who
we've taken or who's yeah.
Okay.
Taken 2 receivers.
We've taken 2 secondary guys. We have 2 defensive linemen. We have an offensive lineman. This is probably a linebacker, I guess.
Sure.
Or you could double dip at. Okay, there's Alex's guy, Jalen Walker. That works for me.
Cool. Final answer?
Yep.
Jalen Walker it is. Oh, I'm so excited to read all these comments while you're on vacation.
I'll probably look at the comments like when I'm about to go to bed or something.
There you go.
Oh
We
yeah.
we got a B minus. I would never have thought Quindarius Robinson would have been our best selection.
Our best grade.
Yeah.
Oh, we got an
Amos,
A for Trevor Etienne.
There you go.
I love that we get a D for taking a guard in the 6th round. Sure.
You dummies. Yeah, honestly, okay. Aside from the players that I do not know, I even intentionally being different, I like the haul. Trey Amos, I know like everyone's gonna just roll their eyes at corner, but need a good corner. I like Trey Amos quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think if you can get that extra 2nd round pick, it gives you a lot of options of what you can do on day 2.
Yeah.
Like getting Alfred Collins and Jalen Royals, like that would be sick. Like that would be a fantastic haul. So Trey Amos, I'm a big fan of. And it's just something different, right? Like everybody does the whole like tight end or defensive tackle thing, and we've done that a lot. Or running back. Taking a corner in round 1 after a trade down, I think is like because this is like the cornerback area, right? Like with Savon Ravel and Benjamin Morrison and all these guys, they're not going to be top 20 picks, but in the 28 to 32 range ish, I think is where that starts for them. And so Trey Amos, it would be like you mentioned earlier, the least question marks of that group.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, something different.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. All right, you guys, let Tyler know if you like this or hate this.
Please let me know.
I will be posting sparingly as I can, obviously time difference and all that. But yeah, I'm in London right now while you guys are watching this. So
that's crazy.
I know it is crazy. I've already asked you this once tonight, Tyler, but any final thoughts before we head out?
No.
All right. All right, guys. Appreciate you so much. You heard me do all the outro just a little bit ago, so I'm not going to do it again, but make sure like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff does help grow the show. This has been another episode of the Guilty as Charged podcast. We'll see you next time. As always, bolt up.